It's the last day of 2024, and it's been an incredible year in so many ways. I will look back on this year and think that this was where the rewards started to show up in my life. And there's some thoughts, strategies and tips that I would love to give you to help you have an unbelievable 2025. If you've been in struggle city, if things have been difficult, if things are not going the way you want, if you're not finding happiness in all you do, then you've come to the right place. Welcome back to the channel. My name's David, and I'm the Hope Coach. So why was 2024 so good? Well, I have my own business, and that business was built on the principle of delayed gratification. First and foremost, that almost everything that the business earned would be ploughed back into the business to help it grow. They were the words of my coach, David Moelman, the home service business coach in Canada. And everything he has said to me has come true. Every bit of advice that he's given me, every source of information has fast-tracked my success in ways that now my competitors are telling other people how good the services from my team are. It's mind-blowing. Just tonight, New Year's Eve, my wife and I are rewarding ourselves for almost 5 years of reinvesting, delaying gratification, and celebrating the success that these hard things have brought. Because I'll tell you now, it's not easy to be doing something and not seeing reward in a big way. To be putting all that effort, to be spending a significant amount of money to ensure that the growth strategies are able to be achieved. And sometimes you look at your life and you think, why am I working this hard? Why am I putting so much of my energy and soul into this business? And that's when it's worthwhile having a coach. And I spoke with Coach Moelman about this, and he said, it's a great question. He said, you need to start celebrating milestones. So the first time, and this is just an incredible story. The first time I realized that I'd made a profit above and beyond reinvesting, paying the costs of the business, growing, and there was around about $400 left over, excess. And that's lovely, and I could have put it back into the business with advertising, marketing of some sort. But with the words of coach ringing in my ears, I said to my wife, let's go out for dinner. Let's go and get the best steak we can find. And let's enjoy ourselves. Let's celebrate with a beautiful bottle of wine as well. So we'd heard about this iconic steakhouse and people were raving about the steak there that was a few $100s. And we had no intention of going there for that steak. But when we sat down, Debbie said to me, we're here to celebrate. We're here to recognize this milestone. Order that steak. So I did. I felt silly doing it. It was a silly amount of money for a piece of meat. But we had it and we shared it. And it was really good. Really good. The company was better. The wine was better. But you know, at the end of it, Debbie said to me, knowing that I love to cook, you can cook a better steak than that. So that sort of said to me, well, we can celebrate more often and for less expense, but still recognizing that this business is blessing us and giving us the things that we want. So with that in mind, 5 years ago, 2020, March, the state I live in became the most locked down place on the planet. It was Debbie's and my 50th birthday that year. Normally on a milestone like that, we would have a beautiful dinner with all of our family, where we would take them out and shout them dinner at somewhere special. That was not possible due to the lockdown. So we put a pin in it. And we said we would celebrate one day. Then with that delayed gratification in mind and recognizing significant milestones, about 7 months ago, Debbie came up to me and said, I've done it. I said, what? I've done it. I've booked us flights to Antarctica for New Year's Eve. I'm like, what? And not just that, we're going business class. What? Well, that's exciting. So that was Debbie's way of saying, well done, you've worked hard, you've done it strategically, you've grown the business, you're blessing others, you're blessing our family, and we're going to celebrate it because that's important. So New Year's Eve tonight, 5 p.m, we're hopping on a Qantas plane and flying non-stop in a loop all the way to Antarctica, 8 hours each way, business class. It's an all-nighter. I'm normally in bed by 7, 8 o'clock because I'm exhausted, so I don't know what's going to happen. And we're going to celebrate a significant milestone. Hello, good girl. Hello, good girl. That's Red Dog. She's wonderful. She's one of the joys of our lives. So, this is not about me bragging. Not at all. I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating a win. And if you think I'm bragging, then this might not be the channel for you. It's about showing you that even somebody like me that's failed in so many other areas can achieve success by some really fundamental core principles that are actually quite boring. It's all about repetition. It's all about consistency. It's all about having faith in the process. Elite sports people know this. They do, Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, they do the small things better, more consistently. And the 0.1% improvement keeps them ahead of the field. So what are the things that I've done that you can do that will help you achieve great things in 2025 and beyond? Remembering that this is about consistency. This is about implementing small things over and over in every aspect of your life. Well, the first thing that I needed to do was to stop the lies going on up here about being a failure, about never being able to achieve anything, about being too old, about being too fat, too slow. I had to get rid of that lie and replace it with great thoughts. And that's when I discovered podcasts. I realized podcasts were my avenue to changing all the thoughts up here into thoughts of greatness. So I started listening and listening and listening. Hours upon hours every single day. I became obsessed, infatuated with people who were similar in many ways to me, but miles ahead in life, business-wise, finance-wise, relationship-wise. And listening to their thinking put a full stop on the thinking that was dragging me down and changed the recording that was going up in my head and in my heart. And after a few months of doing this consistently, daily, for hours and hours, I started feeling good. I started feeling positive. I started feeling that greater things were possible. And as I kept listening, I knew it to be true because I kept hearing it from different sources over and over and over and over again, that just these few simple techniques could change your life. People literally going from living in a trailer to becoming multimillionaires. And I'll cite Joshua Latimer as one of my biggest inspirations there. But a lot of his friends have come from a similar situation. So educating myself was number one. Number two was having a coach. Having a coach was what all of these people told me I needed to do. And it seemed ridiculous because when you're broke, when you're about to lose everything, when you're working 15 hours a day and losing money, it seems absurd to spend a significant chunk of change on somebody who's just going to cheer from the sidelines. But I had committed. I'd changed the thinking up here and I was on board the train to success. And I just knew it was going to happen. So I had a meeting with David Moelman and I told him that. And he's very careful about who he takes on board. But within 5 minutes he knew that I was a good fit and I was on board. And he didn't teach me one thing about how to clean a window, how to clean a driveway, how to clean algae off a house. But what he did teach me was how to grow a business, how to run it successfully, how to implement systems so that I was not a slave to the business like I was in another business. How I could sleep at night knowing that I was growing the business in the right way and that the money was going to be there, and that within months I would get my first employee and then my second employee. And as I realised that was the way to success and large profit, I multiplied that number of employees, knowing that the more I put on, the more blessing would come to me. So having a coach was vital to do that. I never would have brought on even one employee ever if I didn't have a coach. And it's changed my life, and it's made this flight to Antarctica possible. And the reason I know that I wouldn't have even put on one employee without a coach is because I look at all of the other service businesses out there that don't have a coach, that were in a similar situation to me, and they listen to family and friends who say, don't ever get an employee, they're too hard work, they're too entitled, they're lazy, they'll leave, they'll start their own business after they learn what to do. So having a coach is another fundamental. How do you find a coach? Do what I did. Start listening to podcasts. Whatever you're interested in, that you'll find somebody that is an expert, that's ahead of you and willing to teach you for a fee. I believe a fee is important. I believe that people who are giving you gold nuggets should be rewarded for that. The small fee, as it turns out, that I paid to the home service business coach has earned me many hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's an investment, it's not an expense. Now, I touched upon family and friends, and that's not to criticise them, but that's the third point. You need to protect yourself from the thinking of anybody who is not an expert, anybody who is not further ahead than you, anybody that is not qualified to give you advice. Remember that the power of the spoken word is immense. And if somebody who is not an expert is telling you that employees are too hard, don't ever get an employee, they're lazy, they'll steal your business, they don't know, and that's a lie. They just don't know. But it'll go into here and it'll plant a seed of doubt, and it will stop you from becoming great. It will stop you from becoming all you are. It will stop you enjoying your life. It'll stop you from getting a business class ticket to Antarctica or $100+ steak. The spoken word is so powerful. So guard yourself whenever you're around family, whenever you're around your circle of friends. Protect yourself from what they're saying. Change the subject if you have to. Good deal. So what do you do instead? Find a networking group of like-minded individuals who are in business, who are in whatever field you're following, trying to achieve greatness in, and immerse yourself in that group. Listen to what they're saying. They're living the life that you are wanting to live. They will offer you advice that is helpful, that is uplifting, that will, when you implement it into your business, speed you along to success. Get that coach, but guard yourself against thinking that is not aligned with yours and that will keep you back. The last thing that has really catapulted my business in 2024 is giving. Giving to me is one of my superpowers. Giving to me is a joy. Giving lights up who I was meant to be. And from 2018 through to 2022, I was giving from a place of lack. I'd had significant losses in my life, significant heartache, significant damage to my body. My finances were in a terrible state. My income was going backwards rapidly. But I was still trying to give. And I'll explain it this way. When you're giving from a cup that is not full, it is depleting and will soon be empty. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was giving, but I wasn't replenishing. So what did I do? I don't know if this is healthy or not, but I escaped my life. I got a job where I didn't have to see anybody for months. I worked super long hours, and it wasn't for money. It was for the opportunity to be by myself and to fill my head with new thoughts. And during that time, I was starting to fill up that cup. And I was feeling stronger and stronger and stronger. And eventually I felt unstoppable. And I felt me coming back. I felt the joy of being me. I felt I was in a position to start giving again, to start being part of the world around me again, to start interacting with people. It's when I started my business. But the lesson I learned was to protect yourself, to make sure your cup is full. And not only that, to make sure when you're feeding people, when you're giving to people, it's from the overflow. So you are so full, your energy is so powerful, your joy is so strong that you're able to give the abundance that is left over after you've fed from that cup. So the important lesson there is educate yourself, get a coach, surround yourself with people who are ahead of you but like-minded, and fill up your cup, please. These are in no particular order, and I would almost say filling up your cup is job number one. want you to have a blessed life. I want you to do these things. It's for your good. I know they've benefited me. So, if you've watched this far, I know that you've got value. I know that you've seen what is possible. And I would love you to go into the comments section and do me a favor and just write this simple word, cup. Would you do that for me? It'll tell the algorithm that this video was meant for you, that it was helpful for you, and it will then send the video to people who need it as well. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me today. Have a blessed 2025. We'll see you then. Good girl. Good girl, Red Dog.